صلى الله عليك يا مولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة يا غريب ويا مظلوم كربلاء ما خاب من تمسك بكم وأمن من لجأ إليكم يا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين زينة الخلائق أجمعين وحبيب إله العالمين المصطفى الأمجد والرسول المسدد أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين شموس المسالك وأسود المعارك ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، قال الإمام العسكري عليه السلام: علامة المؤمن 5: الصلاة 51 وزيارة 40 والتخميم باليمين وتكفير بالجبين وجهر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. آمنا بالله صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم.
Today we commemorate the martyrdom of our 11th Imam from the 12 Imams of Al Muhammad. Our 11th Imam, Imam Abu Muhammad al-Hasan al-Askari alayhi salam, has a specific title. He has a specific characteristic that only the 11th Imam has. When you see books of biographies, books of history, each has a specific quality. For example, Amir al-Mu'mineen, his title is Amir al-Mu'mineen, or Abu al-Turab, or Abu Hassan. Different titles that the Imam has.
MashaAllah.
Our 11th Imam, the scholars and the people of history, when they speak about the Imam, they have a specific sentence or specific phrase for him. And the phrase that they refer to the Imam is that he is Ibn al-Hadi wa Abu al-Mahdi. He is the son of al-Hadi and he is the father of the Mahdi. So either they refer to him as Abu Muhammad or Abu Muhammad Thani, the second Abu Muhammad, or they say Ibn al-Hadi, the son of Imam al-Hadi, wa Walid al-Mahdi, wa Abu al-Mahdi. He is the son of the 9th Imam, and he is father of the 12th Imam, Imam Sahib al-Dar. So these are specific qualities for Imam. Another quality of the Imam which only 2 Imams have is that our 11th Imam was one of the youngest Imams to have passed away, to have been martyred. The youngest of the Imams who was martyred was Imam al-Jawad, our 9th Imam. He was martyred at the age of 25. 25 years, the Imam, he reigned as leader, and he was martyred at the age of 25. Our 11th Imam, he was martyred at the age of 28. At the age of 28 he was martyred. So Imam al-Jawad and our 11th Imam, they are 2 Imams who were martyred at a very young age. They also gained the leadership of Imam at a very young age. The leadership of being the Imam, they received at a very young age. If we look at the other Imam, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he became Imam at the age of 36. Imam al-Hasan became Imam at the age of 32. So the Imams had around in their 30s. But Imam Jawad and our 11th Imam, they received leadership at young age and they were martyred at a young age. And our 11th Imam, he was martyred at the age of 28. The main characteristic of our 11th Imam is that he is the father of our Imam today. He is the father of Imam as-Sahib al-Dar. He is the Imam of the one who will come and bring justice in the world. He is the father of the one who will come and remove all tyranny. He is the one who the Prophet has prophesied for, that there will be a Mahdi, there will be a guide from my lineage. All of these characteristics are for the 12th Imam. And the Imam is Abu al-Mahdi, or Abu Muhammad, or Abu Mahdi. So these are specific for our 11th Imam. What I would like to discuss today is a very important narration, because the narration of our 11th Imam, what I could find, is only 16 narrations from our 11th Imam. If you look into the books of narrations, the books of history, we can see that 2 Imams from our 12 Imams, they narrated the most of our narrations. The most of our narrations, majority, 90% of our narration from 2 Imams. One of them being Imam Mohammed al-Baqir or Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. These 2 Imams were the ones who transmitted most of the sayings of the Prophet to us. Whenever you see a hadith, you would see قال Imam al-Baqir, or قال Imam Abu Ja'far, or Imam Ja'far al-Sadiq. These 2 Imams are the ones who transmitted the most of our hadith. But Imam al-Askari only has 16 narrations that we have. So it's very limited. Why only have 16 narrations? Because in the time of our 11th Imam, the rulers and the governors, they were waiting for the 12th Imam to be born. There was a lot of pressure on our 11th Imam. Our 11th Imam was put under house arrest. Why was he put in house arrest? Because the people around him knew that there will be a successor that will have. He's going to have a successor which will be by the name of Mahdi. So we are going to stop from this child being born, so that he cannot come into this world and ruin our leadership. Because the Banu Abbas at the time, they had fought for this leadership. They fought Ahlul Bayt, they fought the family of Ahlul Bayt just to get this leadership. So they put a lot of pressure on our 11th Imam. So not many narrations, not many were transmitted from our 11th Imam. But a narration which was transmitted, and it is seen as one of the most important of our narrations, it goes as the following. Imam Hussaini al-Askari alayhi salam, he says, Alamatul mu'min khams. There are 5 signs of a believer. Notice how Imam says believer and he doesn't say a Muslim. A Muslim is different to a mu'min. A Muslim is someone with the label that I believe in Allah and I believe in the Messenger. This is the label of a Muslim. But the label of the mu'min, the Imam, he mentions 5 characteristics. There are 5 characteristics for the believer, for the mu'min. أولاً الصلاة 51. The first of them is that he prays 51 units of prayer. The Imam could have said he prays 17 units. We have 17 units in our daily prayers. We have 2 for Fajr, 4 Dhuhr, 4 Asr, 3 Maghrib, and 4 Isha. These are 17. But the Imam here mentions 51, so there's 17 obligatory units, and there are 34 recommended units. The Nawafil that we pray. These are the recommended prayers that we should do. The Imam is saying this is the sign of a believer. Why is this a sign of a believer? Because not everybody will pray 34 recommended units of prayer. They will say, okay, we have prayed 17, this is enough for us. We don't want to pray the extra. We've done what we have to do. We don't want to pray the extra. But the Imam says here, this is the sign of a believer. One who prays the Nawafil. One who prays recommended actions. Sometimes when we see the congregational prayers happening after the Maghrib or after the Dhuhr prayer, we see that people stand up and they recite 2 units. These are the Nawafil. And it's recommended to recite these recommended prayers. As the Imam says, this is the sign of a mu'min. So these 51 units prayed by a believer. Somebody who is a follower of Ahlul Bayt, they will understand the reward and emphasis of these Nawafil prayers. So the Nawafil prayers are 31, and the majority of these 31 are made up from the Salayl, the Tahajjud, the 11 units which are prayed at the night. So these 51 units of prayer are done by a mu'min. This is the first sign of a mu'min. The second sign is ziyaratul arba'in. The day of Arba'in just went past recently. The Imam here saying is visiting Imam Hussain on the 40th. On the Arba'in day, visiting the Imam is a sign of a believer. On why Arba'in day, not any other day? Because we know in Islam number 40, the number 40 has a very specific characteristic. Allah mentions the number 40, the Aimah mention the number 40. There is some relation between Islam and number 40. There is wisdom behind number 40. So the Imam here says, visiting the Imam on the Arba'in, on the 40th. It's great reward. If you are able to visit the Imam on the 40th. Because this is a sign of a believer. The third sign is that the Imam says, and the one who wears the ring on the right hand. The one who wears the right hand is the sign of a mu'min, the sign of a believer. Now this could be any ring, this could be the red aqiq, this could be the blue pharaohs. There's different rings that bring benefit to one's life. We have plenty of narrations where Imam says this specific stone, if you wear this stone, it will protect you from evil eye. It will protect you from those who have envy against you. People who may be jealous of another person, of what they have. This person has a nice car, wearing nice clothes. And this envy would be towards this person. But we see with the Aimah of Ahlul Bayt, they say you should wear a specific ring. The specific ring which has been said is the red aqiq, is the main ring that the majority of people wear. And this is a sign of a mu'min. We see this is something specific within the Shia. The Twas, the followers of Ahlul Bayt, they are the ones who would wear the red aqiq or the pharaohs. Or these types of ring only a Shia would wear. You would not see other people of Islam, they would not necessarily wear rings. You have other sects of Islam, they say it is recommended to wear a silver ring. I don't know where they got this from. Wearing a silver ring is beneficial. But our Aimah, our Imams alayhimus salam, they say there's specific stones. There, for example, the green emerald, there is the red aqiq. Different stones can bring different benefits to one's life. And the Imam here says wearing the right hand is a sign of a believer. And this is the third sign. The fourth sign is that the believer, he prostrates. He does sujood when he is praying, he prostrates the earth. And this is only something, again, the followers of Ahlul Bayt do. Other followers of Islam, other sects of Islam, they just pray on the floor, they pray on the carpet. They don't pray on anything natural. So what the Imam saying, he is saying here, and it's on something which is natural. With the afirul jabeen. And the forehead should be on a natural surface. The natural surface could be anything. It could be soil, it could be leaves, limestone. But here the ulama say that this, when the Imam says putting your forehead on something natural, it is referring to the soil of Karbala. And doing prostration on the soil of Karbala has many rewards. It is said that those who prostrate the soil of Karbala, they will be resurrected with the Imam of their time. Those who prostrate on the soil of Karbala, they will be resurrected with their Imam. So this is a sign, again, a sign of a mu'min. Muslim will not do this. Difference between a mu'min and a Muslim. A Muslim is someone who prays. They don't pray on the soil of Karbala. They'll pray anywhere. They'll pray on the carpet. They'll pray on a rug, a man-made rug. They'll pray on anything like this, but they will not pray on the soil of Karbala. Or they will not pray on anything natural. And this is the fourth sign of the mu'min. And the last sign that the Imam mentions is that he recites the Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. He recites this loud in his salah. This is something, again, Shia of Ahlul Bayt. Before we start our prayer, before we recite the Fatiha and the second surah, we say the Basmala, we say Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim loud. We do not say it quietly, we do not miss it out. In contrast to other followers of Islam, they leave out the Bismillah. They say Takbir, they say Allahu Akbar, and they start straight away, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. They don't say the Bismillah. Because they don't see the Bismillah as the ayah of the Quran. They don't see it as a part of the Quran. They don't see the Bismillah as something which is a verse of the Quran. It's just something that you recite in the beginning, as for extra reward. In the school of Ahlul Bayt, in the Maktab of Ahlul Bayt, the Imam have said that this Bismillah, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, is part of the Quran. So when we are praying, we recite the Bismillah, we recite the Bismillah loud. And if you see the Bismillah being recited loud by someone, then he is a follower of Ahlul Bayt. No other sect of Islam, they recite the Bismillah loud. They either say it quietly, or they don't say it at all. So these are the 5 signs of a believer. If you have these 5 signs, if you commit yourself to doing these 5 signs, going to Ziyarat of Abu Abdullah on the day of Arba'ah, praying the 51 units of prayer, wearing a ring on the right hand, prostrating on the soil, reciting the Bismillah aloud, these are signs of the mu'min, and you will receive great reward. And this is one of the ahadith, this is one of the narrations that we have received from our 11th Imam. Another narration which has been given from our 11th Imam is that the Imam tells us to respect the ulama, to respect the scholars, to look up to the scholars. There's people nowadays who are disrespecting the ulama. They attack the scholars. They're all online, they have their YouTube channels and their TV shows and whatnot. There's no benefit to that. They attack ulama and they attack the scholars. Our 11th Imam says respect the ulama. Why respect the ulama? Why respect the scholars? The Imam says the scholars is like the moon in the night. The ulama will show you the light. Ulama will guide you. And he will tell you what the Imam has said. What did the Imam mean by this? What is the reasoning for this? This is something the scholars will tell you. Respecting the ulama, defending the ulama, is something that the Imam, our 11th Imam specifically, has told us to do. Respecting the ulama. So these types of narrations, these narrations of reward, these narrations of virtue, have been transmitted from our 11th Imam. They were transmitted from our 11th Imam and they were passed to his son. They were passed to his son, and then those narrations were passed on to the people. They were passed on to the 4 nawab of the Imam. And those 4 representatives of the Imam, they passed it on to the people, and then we received these narrations. We received the traditions from our 11th Imam. As I said in the beginning, there are certain Imams who have not as many narrations as, for example, our 5th and 6th Imams. For example, our 9th Imam, our 11th Imam, our 8th Imam, they don't have as many narrations as our 5th and 6th Imam. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we are motivated to act upon these hadith which have reward, and to act upon these hadith that show us the true nature of the Maktab of Ahlul Bayt. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the motivation to study the lives of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the virtue that we witness the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Dar. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives us the blessing and that He resurrects us with the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Dar. رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَصَلِّ اللَّهُمَّ عَلَى مُحَمَّدٍ وَآلِ مُحَمَّدٍ.